Hello and welcome back to Dashing Swordsman Painting. Today we're going to be painting up one of the sailors from the Blood and Plunder starter kit. It's a plastic kit, pretty easy to put together with a variety of weapon and head choices. The goal for this paint is not to do a speed paint, but to do an efficient method of painting to get good playable models onto the table. We're going to be using a base coat, wash, and then highlight back up method. Next thing we're going to do is our base coats. We're going to work deep to shallow and light to dark. I think that's best for access to the parts of the model and then to cover over when you need to. We're going to start with the skin using the warm flesh color, using 2 thin coats if needed. And in future videos, I think I'll try and use different skin colors to explore other tones and hues that come with the set. Next, we'll base coat the pants with the light umber, just being careful of skin edges, and if you do make a mistake, just clean it back up with the warm flesh. Next, we'll do the shirt. We'll use the bright ivory color, and this one's probably going to take a couple of thin coats. Next, we'll base coat the hat using the dark warm gray. Next, I decided to highlight the hat, mixing the warm gray with the bright ivory. I did this because I already had them on my palette before I took a break from painting. You could certainly do it later after the base coats if you wanted. Next, we'll do the scarf using the bold Pyrrole red. A sharp tip on your brush is really important here. Next, base coat the weapons using the coal black. Being careful of the hands, again, sharp tip, work slowly. Next, we'll do the belt with a dark umber. That'll give us a visual break between the shirt and pants. Again, just being careful, take your time. Next, we'll do the belt buckle going back to the warm gray. You could use a metallic if you have one you prefer. Next, we'll do the wood on the base. We'll use the light umber. Don't worry about it being the same as the pants. We'll come back and highlight it with another color. To highlight the base and bring out the details on the wood, we'll get a little bit of the yellow ochre, and then we'll dry brush that onto the wood, working perpendicular to the direction of the grain. Next, we'll apply a wash all over the model. I thinned down the dark umber at least 10:1 ratio with water, and then applied it all over the model. The key here is to remove pooling in any of the recesses to avoid coffee staining when it dries. Overall, this was a little bit of a cold color. I think I'm going to try some different washes in the future, maybe with the light umber, or mixing in a little bit of red where it goes over the skin. Once the wash is dry, we'll highlight back up, going section by section. Starting with the pants, I mixed a little bit of the bright ivory into the light umber, and then dry brushed it on. Remember, less is more, and you can always add more if you want to. For the shirt, I just dry brushed the light ivory to re-establish the brightest raised areas. For the scarf, I started by using the bold Purell red on the raised areas, and then a 50-50 mix of the bold Purell red and the bright ivory at the very edges to make it pop a little bit more. For the hat, I dry brushed about a 50-50 mix of the warm gray and the bright ivory, mostly catching the raised edges. To highlight the metal, we're going to use a number 2 pencil. Rub the side of it very gently along the raised edges of the weapons. This will have very much the same effect as dry brushing a gunmetal color, like we did in the ship video if you watched that one. But this is great if you don't already happen to own a metallic paint. Next, we'll paint the base rim using the light umber. And this sailor is finished. You could certainly always continue adding more details or contrast, but I would be perfectly happy to put this guy and some of his buddies on their pirate or privateer ship at my local store. Thanks for joining, have fun painting, and we'll see you next time.